Hi, good morning everybody. Welcome to the first edition of the Early Bird. I'm going to be doing it this playoffs once again, guys. I'm going to have a different intro though. I'm going to get an intro made specifically for the Early Bird when I do the playoffs. I know I don't get many hits with this, but I love following hockey and I like following it right to the end. So guys, we're going to, what I'm going to do in this video, because there's no playoff games to report yet, the first rule of thumb, guys, I'm going to do is give you my first round predictions, okay? So we'll have a bit of fun with this. And I'm going to throw out my Stanley Cup prediction at the end ahead of time. Who I think is going to meet in the finals. Before I make all these, I don't want to predict the next round because, guys, there's upsets. There's upsets every year. So, you know what I mean? There's no way to know if I'm going to get, most likely I'm hoping to get 5 of these or 6 of these right, you know? So we'll start with the West, guys. I don't want to drag this. And the first round between Colorado and Seattle. I'm going to just run through these quick, why I believe what I believe with each round, okay? So Colorado, Seattle. Seattle's first really crack at the dance. It's their first time there. And Colorado, defending champions, seem like they peaked at the right time. And I'm hearing that Cale Makar is going to be good to go. And for me, that's enough right there. I think Seattle will get a game in this series, but I don't think it'll go further than that. I got the Avalanche in 5 in that one. And I think Seattle will be competitive, though, in the series. Here's a good one. Dallas and Minnie. Now, Dallas lost the first round, Game 7 in overtime. For that reason alone, I'm picking Dallas to win this series. But the real X factor, guys, is Ottinger. And you know, Ben had a pretty good year. There's a lot of reasons I would go against the Wild. They're just not a very good playoff team. You know, they're not. Maybe they'll break through eventually. I don't know. You know, you take away the Kaprizov factor, and they're just, you know, I think they're a beatable squad. I think Dallas is going to beat them. I'm going to go with. I think this could be a good series, but I think Dallas, I'm going to go with Dallas in 6 in that one, just because Dallas recently, not too long ago, made the Stanley Cup Finals. And I really do believe that this Dallas team, it could be their last crack at the dance, really, this bunch this year. So I got Dallas in 6 in that one. Now, moving on. Vegas and Winnipeg. I think Vegas had, not shockingly a good year, but a little surprisingly, a really, really good season. I think they rolled out of the gate 13-2, and from that point on, it was hard for anybody to catch them for first. Edmonton did everything humanly possible, I think, to really make it hell for them late in the season to get that first place. And Winnipeg really kind of surprised me this year with a playoff push. I didn't expect much from Winnipeg this year, ironically. And but I think Vegas, guys, this is their last chance. I don't believe Vegas will be this good next year. I just don't. They're aging. They got no pipeline whatsoever. They really don't. They traded out all their first rounders. And Vegas are built to win right now. But I'm going to go, one thing I got to say, there's going to be upsets. And the X factor here is Hellebuck. I'm going with the Jets in 6. I think the Jets are going to upset Vegas. I do. I think that's going to be one of the shockers in the first round. Okay. Just because it's an aging Vegas team as well. There's a lot of factors that weigh into that. Hey, Vegas, I picked a few years ago to win the Cup. I was wrong then too, so I could be wrong here. But there's just this gut feeling of Hellebuck's going to go off, and it's going to be hell for Vegas. Okay, next one, Edmonton, Los Angeles. The Oilers are rolling, folks. They're rolling like, you know, how many times did we see online over the years, Edmonton, the place where careers go to die. This is what the trolls would say. And the trolls now are all picking Edmonton to win. You know, like, hockey fans are incredible. They really are. The Oilers are rolling. They are completely rolling. McDavid, of course, we know had a stellar season. And I do believe if we're going to compare McDavid eventually to the greats, the real greats, like right now he's in the Guy Lafleur talk, okay? He is. He's not in the Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Bobby Orr talk. Not yet because of one big season. No, not yet. But if Connor McDavid, folks, has about 4 more years like he had this year, and then peaks out at about 180-point season, which I suspect he will, then we have to look at it. And he has to be in that conversation then. So let's see in 4 years from now if he continues to do what he did this year, and I think he just might. Then we have to look at Connor McDavid as one of the all-time greats. We do. He's not there yet. He hasn't won a cup. He's had really one big season in his career, one really monster season this year. You know, it's his first 50-goal season, which took much long. I thought he'd get it in his second year, and it took him this long. There are so many weapons at Edmonton. There's so many. But the Los Angeles Kings, folks, have a history of upsetting the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs, and they just played them in a very tight series last year that they let slip out of their fingers. And I think this time around, Doughty's there. There's reasons to look at LA as a potential upset. There is. But I got to go with the team that's rolling and the team with the best player in the world. I'm going with the Oilers in 6 in this one here. I can't see LA upsetting them. I just can't. But they could. They could because of goaltending. That could be what, that's the one worry I have for the Oilers. Can Skinner do it? Because Campbell is a no-show, it looks like this year. So far. If Campbell wakes up in the playoff zone, they put Campbell in and he wakes up, then we have a Stanley Cup team all of a sudden for sure. So we'll see. But for now, let's just worry about the first round. I got Oilers in 6 there. All right, to the East, guys. The Bruins and Panthers. I got the Bruins rolled all year, as we know. They made the league look stupid. No, they weren't as good as the 77 Habs. Please, Boston fans, stop. Please. Some Bruins fans that are young, I get it. You're 25, you're 30. You want to believe that. I've seen both teams, and believe me, guys, I would cheer you guys to beat Montreal in a series. And I'm telling you that this team doesn't hold a candle to the 77 Habs. This team is great. People say, what about the parity? Yeah, what about the no center ice? What about the over the boards? What about the refs that are so bloody inconsistent in this league compared to back in the day? We can go back and forth. What separated the Bruins, though, okay, this year for me, is that they were just as dominant as the Habs when it comes to separation from the league. I haven't seen it since 77, what I've seen with the Bruins this year. And yes, I'm counting the 96 Red Wings and the 2019 Lightning. Those teams were really awesome teams, but they will go down in history as chokers. Will the Bruins? Because if the Bruins don't win the Cup, folks, they're chokers. They will go down as chokers eventually. But I do have a belief, later on I'll talk about that might not be true also. Okay, so the Bruins and Panthers, I think the Panthers were lucky to get in. I think the Panthers' goaltending right now is up in the air. I just don't know what they're going to do. I'm not a big believer in Ullmark. You guys know this. I'm not a big believer in Ullmark. Swayman, I'm a big believer in Swayman. I think Ullmark, I'm going to predict he's going to go down with an injury in this playoffs. I don't think he'll be able to hack the grind. I don't. So I think when Ullmark goes down, Swayman takes over, and it's Swayman's job to lose after that. I got the Bruins winning in 5 against Florida. And we'll see if Ullmark lasts the first round. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be watching for that because I have my doubts. I really do. And I honestly believe that the Bruins team is just, they look unstoppable. They do. They appear unstoppable, but things aren't always as they appear. All right, next round. Toronto and Tampa. Folks, Toronto's long overdue to win a first round. They've choked and choked and choked and choked. And Tampa look worn out. They look like time's caught up to them. And they appear that they just aren't going to have it this year in the playoffs. For that reason alone, I'm going with Tampa in 6. I think Tampa's going to wake up in the playoffs. I think they have the thoroughbreds when it comes to playoff time, how to wake up. And I think they're going to feed off the experience of losing to Columbus years ago in this series. They don't want to be the team. You got to remember something, folks, and you got to put this thought into your head. This is the way I'm thinking. If you want to hear what I'm saying about this, that really think I'm way off. Tampa don't want to be the team that people will say later on that Toronto ended their slump against. You get what I'm saying? They don't want that. No team does. So Tampa, I think, is going to wake up in the playoffs. I think they're going to surprise Toronto. I think Toronto with the home ice is going to be a curse. I think it's going to put more pressure on that team than they need. They already have enough pressure, and I think it would have benefited Toronto starting on the road. I would have felt different about this series if Toronto started on the road, but now that they're starting at home, I don't know. Toronto also, I don't trust their goaltending whatsoever. I just don't. I don't like their defense. I don't like their goaltending. And the truth is, Tampa Bay folks are meaner. They got way better goaltending, and they got way better coaching. I got to go with Tampa in 6. Okay, next one. I got Carolina and the Islanders. The Islanders, as we know, have put some deep runs together recently, and Carolina's choked year after year. They've choked. And for that reason alone, I'm going with Carolina in 7. I think Carolina is going to win that series, just squeak out. And then after they survive, which Carolina usually do survive the first round, but after they survive a series against a team like the Islanders, a playoff-ready team, and I think age is going to catch up to the Islanders, folks. I just do. The Islanders can't keep going with an old team forever. And their core is getting older. They got too many guys like 33, 34, 35. They just do. This is a younger, faster team over in Carolina. And I would feel different, I think, if Trotz was still coaching the Islanders. I think I'd feel a little different. But I'm going to go with Carolina in 7, a tight series. And now, the final series, guys, I got the Devils and Rangers, okay? The Devils, as we know, are the new kids on the block, and the Rangers are a team now that came 2 wins from the finals last year when they were up 2-0, then lost 4 straight. So the Rangers are heading into this series having lost their last 4 playoff games in a row. It's going to be interesting to see how the Rangers react after the way they kind of choked against Tampa last year. They did kind of choke. They had a great season. They were young, and they learned a lot last year, the Rangers. But they didn't come out strong this year like I thought they would start the season. And the Devils, folks, have rolled all year long. And, you know, if I'm gonna look at edge, definitely the Rangers with goaltending, but I would say definitely the Devils with coaching. So I am going to go with the Devils, Game 7 in overtime in that series. That's how I see it playing out. I think it's going to go right to the wire, 2-1, Game 7, and I think the Devils are going to prevail because I think they're faster. I think they're just young enough not to respect the Rangers, which is what will win the series, you know? So if they go into that series and don't show the Rangers too much respect, the Devils will win the series, I think. I don't think just because it's their first playoff and they were a bad team last year, I don't think that plays into anything right now. It will with the Devils eventually, not yet. I think the Devils were too damn good this year to lose the first round. So we'll see. We'll see in the playoffs. It's kind of sad those two teams have to play each other in the first round. It's kind of crazy, actually. Now, I'm still going to give you my Stanley Cup Finals prediction because I want to go on record, and I'm not going to change it this year. I said last year I've reserved the right to change. Not this year. This year, I'm just going to go out with a gut feeling. I talked about this in a video about a month ago. My predictions might have looked a little different than today, but this is just how I feel today. I told you guys I'd have to see right before the playoffs how everything's shaping up. Right now, before this whole thing starts, which is the funnest time of the year, and we will be in next year, guys. We'll be in next year. I'm going with the Avalanche in 6 over the Bruins in the finals. I'm still sticking with that prediction. I think the Avalanche are going to repeat as champions. And that's why I'm saying if the Bruins go that far, is it really a choke this year if they don't win the Cup? I don't know. That's up for debate. If the Bruins don't get to the finals, it's a huge choke, a monster choke. It is. If the Bruins don't make the finals, my goodness, after that year. But here's the thing why I'm picking the Avalanche also, okay? This might rub some Bruin fans the wrong way, and it's no insult. I think you had the greatest player that ever lived in Bobby Orr. The Bruins have been the winningest franchise in the NHL since 1970 to today. That's the winningest franchise in the NHL. No, not the Habs, the Bruins have a better winning percentage from 1970, even counting the 70s Habs till today. But I think the Bruins, folks, have a history of not winning cups. And I think that's going to play in to the destiny of this year. I just do. I think the Bruins, you know, I know they won the cup in 2011, but that's one cup, folks, and since 1973. With all the great teams they've had. They just have a destiny written in them, it looks like, this year, that they can be unstoppable. I don't know. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I have to see it happen, you know. But for now, I'm picking the Avalanche in 6. I'm going to stick with that pick. If the Avs bow out in the playoffs all of a sudden, I'll give you my prediction as the rounds go along. But for now, I got the Avs repeating, guys. All right, I'll see you guys won't be in any more videos this morning, maybe some tonight. See you then, guys.